Because I fell in love with Liu Ruyan, after his postgraduate recommendation was revoked, his family sent him abroad. As for me, my father packed me off to a mental hospital. 10 years later, Liu Ruyan made a high-profile return to the country. Reporters brought an old photo of us to interview him, but he looked coldly at the photo and said 3 words, "I don't know." He even threw the photo into a trash can in front of everyone. However, when the night grew silent and the streets were empty, he returned to the trash can, retrieved the photo, and held it close to his heart. 10 years. "Why haven't you come to find me?" he murmured. I hovered beside him, smiling bitterly. "Because I'm already dead." The night I died, a fire suddenly broke out in the mental hospital. Many patients were lost in the blaze. Since then, my soul has been wandering the halls of the hospital. At first, there were other spirits with me, but over time, they disappeared one by one, leaving me alone to guard this place. I couldn't stray too far from the hospital, so I spent my days sitting by the window, passing the time. I've watched countless sunsets far more than 44. And so, 10 years passed, and the abandoned hospital turned into a ghostly ruin. One day, a young man suddenly appeared, holding a phone and talking to himself. "Hello, everyone, this is Wu Zheng, your host. We're at the infamous haunted Fanyi Mental Hospital, which has been abandoned for 10 years. Legend has it that a fire killed 27 people here back then, and the youngest victim was only 18 years old. Afterward, the director was arrested. Tonight, we're going to find out if this place is really haunted." I leaned on his shoulder, peering at his phone, realizing he was live streaming. Some locals also streamed like this to make money. Suddenly, he shivered slightly but kept talking. "Even after 10 years, you can still see how intense the fire was. The walls are charred black, and the burn marks are still severe." He kept narrating as he walked, until he reached my old room. He scanned the pitch-dark room with his camera, and his gaze landed in a corner of the wall. Wu Zheng crouched down, pulling a charred metal box from the broken wall. I jumped in frustration. "That's mine. Don't touch it." But he couldn't hear me, and he even opened the box. My secrets were laid bare. He took out a half-burned photo, holding it up to the camera. "Look at this, everyone. This guy is really handsome. He seems quite young. Do you think he was underage?" I huffed angrily. "Don't think I'll forgive you just because you called me handsome. For the record, I was an adult. I wasn't a kid. I even had a relationship." The chat comments rolled in. Could he be the 18-year-old who died in the fire? Ghosts of underage victims can be vengeful. Don't mess with their belongings. Such a pity, dying so young. Rumor has it that this mental hospital was very strictly managed at the time. Otherwise, when the fire broke out, there wouldn't have been so many patients who didn't escape. Wait, there seems to be another person next to the photo. You can see a little bit. The edge of the white skirt should be a girl. Is she the person he likes? Can a mentally ill person like someone being liked by a lunatic? Makes me angry just thinking about it. I feel a little sad when I see the barrage. I'm not mentally ill. I just have autism. My dad said that as long as I get good treatment, I can fall in love after I recover. I will like someone. I'm not a lunatic. Wu Zheng frowned and looked at his phone and said, "Those who can't speak human language, get out of my live broadcast room." "Shut up, you lunatic. Only you are normal. Your whole family is normal." I don't think Wu Zheng seems to be that bad. He turned the photo to the back and saw the 3 words written on the back, Liu Ruyan. Liu Ruyan was my first love. Because I didn't want to go to school, he became my tutor from the 2nd year of high school. He was 19 years old that year. My dad said he very good. He is the top student. He is also a popular student in Jingda University. He skipped 3 grades. He got the qualification of Bayan in his junior year. How about letting him be your tutor? He won't say anything. He will be my tutor no matter whether I agree or not. Before Liu Ruyan, my father hired many tutors for me. But I always liked to do other things during class, such as painting or wood carving, and immerse myself in my own world. Those tutors finally left on their own initiative. When Liu Ruyan first came, I would ignore him. I thought he would scold me behind my back and give me all kinds of nicknames. Those people thought I was a fool, who couldn't talk and wouldn't complain. They all did this. But he just kept talking about the questions in my ear, regardless of whether I listened or not. In fact, I could basically understand. When the class was over, he took out a few papers. These were the papers for today's class content. You have time to do them. I will talk about them in class tomorrow. I didn't do them because I was not interested. I made a mess of his test paper. He said that your frog drawing is very beautiful. It is obviously a tree frog. How can it be a frog? Did I say something wrong? I ignored him. He lowered his eyes and began to explain the problem. Liu Ruyan has long eyelashes. When she blinks, she looks like a butterfly fish. Liu Ruyan is always very calm. It seems that she doesn't care whether I pay attention to her or not. Do you understand this problem? If you don't understand, you can tell me. I will explain it again. He tapped the table with his fingertips. I ignored him. Since you understand, let us talk about the next problem. When I don't understand, I will turn my head to look at him. He will explain it again. I think it's fun. I deliberately look at him again after he finishes. After explaining it 5 times, Liu Ruyan is still very calm. It's strange that he won't get angry. A month later, I said the first sentence to him. What is it? Why do my classmates call me a little monster? Liu Ruyan was stunned for a moment, and then asked me. I didn't tell him who said it. He asked me again. Someone called you like this? I nodded. Then he drew a picture for me. He asked me what it was. A snake ate an elephant. Liu Ruyan smiled faintly. He said. But many people think it's a hat. How silly. People always express negation to opinions that are different from their own. They think you are different from them. So they are prejudiced against you. Prejudice is the little monster. You are not. But I am different from normal people. You are just special. People are different. It's nothing. No one has ever told me these things. He asked me. Do you want to know the story behind this painting? I nodded. Finish this paper and I will tell you. Okay. Liu Ruyan brought me a book. I think I am as special as the little prince in the book. Liu Ruyan is even more special. The little prince lives on a planet where he can see 44 sunsets a day. Liu Ruyan, I also want to see 44 sunsets a day. If you can get into Peking University in the college entrance examination, I will take you to see it. I hesitated. I like going to school. I don't like people outside. But if there is Liu Ruyan, maybe the outside world is not so annoying. After the college entrance examination, Liu Ruyan took me to Beijing University. In the school auditorium, I watched 44 plays. Liu Ruyan wrote the program with code. Special effects made with models. He said he would not teach me anymore. Why? The college entrance examination is over. Liu Ruyan, I like you. The college entrance examination is over, but my love will not end. You are still young and have not seen the outside world. I understand. Liu Ruyan will not like little monsters either. Liu Ruyan, I am not stupid. If you don't like it, I can say it directly, but don't deny my love. I rarely say such serious words. I just don't like to speak. It doesn't mean that I don't have my own ideas. Liu Ruyan was stunned. I know that many people like Liu Ruyan. I can understand the look of liking someone, but Liu Ruyan can't understand my look and still denies my love. He doesn't know that I just let him enter my world. If he doesn't want to come in, forget it. I no longer speak to Liu Ruyan. No matter what he says, I won't listen. As long as I want, I can block out all the sounds from the outside world and live only in my own world. When I was young, I couldn't understand what others said, and I couldn't get out of my own world. I didn't understand why my mother cried to me. I didn't have any special feelings after she left. Later, after a long period of treatment, I learned to get out of my own world. Although I still don't understand overly complicated emotions most of the time. But I know that tears mean sadness. My mother doesn't want me that much. After meeting Liu Ruyan, I know what love is again. Like means sharing your world with him. Want to be with him. I will be happy even if I don't do anything. I tell Liu Ruyan some strange ideas. He will think seriously. And then respond to me. Although sometimes it's not the answer I want, but I like Liu Ruyan's response. He never gives me a perfunctory answer. After Liu Ruyan rejected me, she sent me home and asked me, will you never talk to me again? He doesn't like me anyway, so why should he care about my opinion? But I still nodded honestly. Can't we just continue to be friends? But I like you. If you don't like me, I'll be sad. I'll also be sad if you're with someone else, so I can't be friends with you. There's a difference between a person you like and a friend. I'll put Liu Ruyan in a secret corner of my heart and make liking him my own business. If he wants to come to my world next time, I'll invite him again. But Liu Ruyan was silent. I don't know what he was thinking. Just when I was about to leave, Liu Ruyan held my wrist and said he didn't want to make you sad. Liu Ruyan and I are together. He's still the same as before. He'll send me messages every day and tell me stories when he calls. We've ridden the skyscraper together. We'll watch dolphins. When I was scared, he would hold my hand. He occupied more and more space in my heart. I wanted to be with Liu Ruyan all the time. I wanted to smell the faint sweet scented Osmanda scent on him. I wanted to hug him. Kiss him. I really liked Liu Ruyan. But after my dad found out, he wouldn't let me be with him. My dad said he was poor. He was dating me to cheat our family out of money. I didn't know how to explain it. I just kept repeating no, it wasn't like that. Liu Ruyan wasn't that kind of person. He liked me. I liked him too. My dad said, do you know what love is? How could a normal person like you? He just thought you were easy to fool. I shouldn't have asked him to be your tutor. No. Liu Ruyan didn't lie to me. I know what love is. You don't know. You were just fooled by him. I know, I just know. No one cares about my inner qualities. My dad locked me in the room. Won't let me see Liu Ruyan. Rainy day. Liu Ruyan standing outside the gate of my villa and refusing to leave. I screamed loudly in the room. My dad didn't open the door for me. Wait for Liu Ruyan. Wait for Liu Ruyan. Give him some time. Liu Ruyan will become very powerful in the future. He is not after my money. He really likes me. I returned to my own world. I no longer talk to my dad. I no longer eat with him. I just want to see Liu Ruyan. My dad said that as long as you treat your illness obediently, I will let you see him and be together after you are cured. Not just seeing him, I want to be with him. When you are cured, I will let you be together. I went to a mental hospital and took medicine every day for treatment. Most of the time. I can only look at the outside world from the window. I have been waiting. When I am normal, I can be with Liu Ruyan. Although I don't know what is normal. I can finish all the college entrance examination papers and get high scores. But they don't ask me those questions. Instead, they ask me difficult questions. What do you think is love? Can you understand love or the concept of marriage? A new person came to the mental hospital that day. The nurse said he concealed his history of mental illness. As a result, he got sick after getting married. Now he was sent in by his husband. The nurse said he harmed others and himself. Mental illness is hereditary. That man is so miserable. He must regret falling in love with him and marrying him. I suddenly felt very scared. It turns out that you can't be together just by liking each other. You may regret it even if you are together. Maybe they are right. I don't understand anything. I have been dead for 10 years. I still don't understand. Why should I be locked up in a mental hospital for treatment just because I like Liu Ruyan? Why doesn't anyone believe that I really like Liu Ruyan? Wu Zheng suddenly became very excited. He said to his phone. Why don't we start an event? Let's call it Find Liu Ruyan. Digging out the story behind this half photo. He put the photo in an iron box. Then he left the mental hospital with the box. I was in a hurry and could only follow him. Give me back that photo of mine. But he couldn't hear me. Then I walked out of the mental hospital. I followed him all the way. I returned home. I found out that it wasn't the mental hospital that trapped me, but this photo. I could only move around the photo. I watched with my own eyes. Wu Zheng posted my photo online. He collected news. He contacted various people. He asked about Beatty Mental Hospital. He searched for Liu Ruyan all over the internet. This matter became a hot search. I was a little scared. I was afraid that Liu Ruyan would be very sad if he knew that I was dead. If Liu Ruyan died, I would probably never come out of my world again. But I couldn't stop Wu Zheng because I was already dead. At this time, Wu Zheng saw a piece of news. Internet technology giant Liu Ruyan will return to China next week to participate in the Artificial Intelligence Seminar Summit. He suddenly got up from the bed and said to himself, "It's impossible. It's impossible." I saw the photo in the news. I didn't dare to blink. It's Liu Ruyan. It's 30-year-old Liu Ruyan. It's my first love, Liu Ruyan. It turns out that he has been living abroad. Has he forgotten me? Why doesn't he come to the mental hospital to see me? Is it because I didn't cure her illness? Why doesn't 30-year-old Liu Ruyan smile? Is he unhappy? I really want to see him. I glanced at Wu Zheng. Then I looked at his home. Forget it, it's a bit embarrassing for him. 2 days later, someone left a message online saying that he knew me. Wu Zheng was very excited after seeing the message. After he calmed down, I nervously looked at his phone with him. The person in the photo is my high school classmate. He rarely came to school since the second year of high school. There was no news from him afterwards. His name is Yechiu. Not quite normal. But he won't hurt others. He just doesn't listen in class. Always handing in blank papers. He doesn't seem to hear anything others say. Never pays attention to anyone. Now I think it should be autism. Yes, it is autism. Not mental illness. Except for not studying, talking, and paying attention to people, he is quite normal in other aspects. Wu Zheng immediately contacted the other party. Then do you know Liu Ruyan? What is his relationship with Yechiu? I don't know. Yechiu ignored everyone. But the name Liu Ruyan was familiar. I thought about it. I secretly prayed that he would not remember it. But praying was useless. I remembered that he was our senior in the 3rd year of high school. We were the top scorers in the city's college entrance examination that year. You search the news. You should be able to find his photo. Wu Zheng said a swear word after searching. Isn't this Liu Ruyan, one of the 3 internet giants? Now it's impossible. It must be a coincidence. Yes, of course it's impossible. Wu Zheng, please, don't ask Liu Ruyan about the photo. On the day Liu Ruyan returned to China, Wu Zheng still contacted his journalist friend. Together they went to wait for Liu Ruyan. I floated beside Wu Zheng. I was super nervous. Although I was afraid that Liu Ruyan would know that I was dead, I finally got to see him secretly. Then I saw the 30-year-old Liu Ruyan as I wished. But there was a young man next to him. His hand was easily placed on Liu Ruyan's shoulder. He walked with him very intimately. I was a little angry. Still a little sad. I didn't walk with Liu Ruyan like this. Will Liu Ruyan like him as much as she likes me? When I thought of this, it felt like an acid rain fell in my heart. But I was a little happy. Because Liu Ruyan seemed to be doing well. Wu Zheng rushed up directly, holding half of the photo, and asked Liu Ruyan, "Do you still recognize the person in the photo? Help, why is he so reckless?" His question was very abrupt and inappropriate. But Liu Ruyan stopped. His eyes fell on the photo. Then he looked at Wu Zheng with cold eyes. Not only was Wu Zheng scared, but I also took a step back. Liu Ruyan's eyes seemed to want to eat people. She didn't know me. The expectations that were suspended fell heavily to the ground. Liu Ruyan said she didn't know me. Wu Zheng sat in the car. Looking at the photo, he wondered if he was really wrong. But Liu Ruyan's reaction just now. It didn't seem like she didn't know me. I don't understand why Liu Ruyan could forget me. Was his love in the past fake? I don't know about him falling in love with someone else. Argue with him. But how can he forget me? Now even if he knows I'm dead. He shouldn't be sad, right? Suddenly someone knocked on the door of the unlicensed car. It was the man who just stood with Liu Ruyan. He said, "Hello. My name is Song Rufeng. I can buy the photo in your hand." You name a price. Sorry, I won't sell it to you no matter how much. But if you can tell me. If Liu Ruyan knows the person in the photo, I might be able to give you the photo directly. I can tell you that the person in the photo almost ruined Liu Ruyan. It's not a good thing to have this photo. Song Rufeng looked at the photo and said. Everything related to this person. For Liu Ruyan, it's a thunder point that cannot be touched. You have to be careful. Is that right? Wu Zheng gave the photo to Song Rufeng. I heard him muttering behind his back. Things are getting interesting. Is it a thunder point or something else? You have to touch it to know. I thought Song Rufeng would destroy the photo, but I didn't expect her to give the photo to Liu Ruyan. You not let her go yet? Liu Ruyan took the photo, didn't even look at it, and threw it directly into the trash can. He said I had long forgotten who he was. I felt that Song Rufeng's attitude was a bit strange. I sat at Liu Ruyan's feet, looking at the photos in the trash can. I couldn't describe how sad I felt. That was the only photo of Liu Ruyan and I. I took it with the camera when we went to the amusement park together. I still remember that he was holding a pink marshmallow in his hand at the time. It was so sweet. He also said that he would always like me. He changed his mind, but I didn't. When I went back that day, I developed 2 photos. One of them was torn up by my father. It was also because of the photo that he knew that Liu Ruyan and I were in love. I took the remaining photo quietly into the mental hospital. When the fire broke out, I hid the photo in the iron box of candy. There was a rat hole behind the fallen wall. I put the iron box in it and blocked it with my body. In the end, half of the photo was lucky enough to be left. After becoming a ghost, I draw Liu Ruyan's face in my mind every day. Although the photo is destroyed, I have never forgotten what he looks like. I remember every word he said to me, but Liu Ruyan forgot. The cleaning lady at the hotel threw my photo into a bigger trash can. I could only follow him. In fact, I want to tell Liu Ruyan that I have understood a lot of things in the past 10 years. I have seen girls and boys kissing in the alley, promising to love each other forever, but then the boy kissed someone else and made the same vow. I have also seen couples getting divorced, fighting over property and children, and wishing each other dead. I have also seen couples who obviously don't like each other but choose to be together after a blind date, with no love in their eyes. I still don't I can define love. But I know that my love surpasses most of them. I will not lie. I will not change my heart. I have done what I promised him. But now I don't understand Liu Ruyan's love. I leaned against the trash can late at night. Love is indeed a very complicated thing. No wonder my father thinks I am weak. Before the dawn, I saw Liu Ruyan in pajamas running over. He rummaged through the trash can with red eyes. Then he picked up my photo. After wiping it clean, he put it in his arms. Liu Ruyan was sad. Why didn't he say he forgot? He took my photo back to the room and sat down on the bed with his head down. He didn't move. Love shouldn't be something that makes people sad. I want to tell Liu Ruyan that if she feels sad, then don't like me. It doesn't matter if you forget me. I regret keeping this photo. I don't want to see Liu Ruyan sad. Liu Ruyan put the photo in her wallet and carried it with her. So I can be with Liu Ruyan every day. She never mentioned my name and didn't try to find my whereabouts. He still didn't know anything about my death. He and Song Rufeng attended the banquet together after the collapse. Everyone praised them for their good looks and asked when they would get married. When I thought about Liu Ruyan marrying someone else, I wanted to disappear. I hope he is happy, but I don't want to see him happy with my own eyes. Liking is selfish and exclusive. I even thought, why not let Liu Ruyan know that I am dead, then he will remember me and won't marry Song Rufeng. I am really selfish. Liu Ruyan bought the villa I once lived in. The agent told him that it was a haunted house. Everyone who lived here had encountered natural disasters and man-made disasters. As a result, Liu Ruyan was replying to messages and didn't hear what the other party said at all. After reading the contract, Liu Ruyan signed her name neatly. Although Liu Ruyan's handwriting is beautiful, his fingers are long and slender, but they are not flexible at all. When carving, he even asked me to teach him step by step. Moreover, when I talked to him, he was not focused. His ears were always as red as cherries, which made me inattentive. I didn't have time to pick cherries, and I lost them forever. Late at night, Liu Ruyan sat in the room where we used to take classes. He didn't turn on the lights. He just held a cup of coffee and looked out the window quietly. What was Liu Ruyan thinking about the next day? He asked someone to everything was moved away. The villa became empty in an instant. Liu Ruyan would take time to stay here every day. He did nothing. The setting sun shone in from the French windows. He sat on the floor in the house. He looked at the wild roses planted outside the window. The setting sun fell on him. It created a sad atmosphere. I sat beside him. I accompanied him quietly. Liu Ruyan, are you thinking about me? You clearly remember me. Why did you lie? Do you find it difficult to say that you like me? Liu Ruyan and I turned our heads at the same time. Song Rufeng approached him. He seemed a little angry. Didn't you say you forgot we are leaving here soon? You also bought the house he once lived in. Since you can't let him go, just go find him directly. Don't let Liu Ruyan come to me. He wants to be good. Good to live. I don't want Liu Ruyan to die. Find him and then. He doesn't know what love is. Do you hate him? Then I don't hate him and he didn't do anything wrong. He just doesn't like me. But I don't have the courage to like him again. I don't dare to try. What are they talking about? Why did Liu Ruyan say this again? I know what love is. Although I was 18 when I died. But I am 28 now. I hate anyone who denies my love. They are not me. Why do they think of me like this? Liu Ruyan said calmly. I am like a rose in this garden. No different from other roses. He likes this one today and maybe he will like another one tomorrow. I anxiously retorted. No, you are different. But Liu Ruyan, who can't hear my voice, Ruyan said to herself, I haven't changed my phone number in the past 10 years. I remember every unfamiliar number, just in case it's him calling. Vinian said. I lowered my head. Before I entered the mental hospital, my phone was taken away by my father. I wanted to find you, but I couldn't find you. His father said I was not worthy of him. He was a young master carefully cultivated by a noble family, and I was just an ordinary girl with a slightly smart brain. We were not from the same world. I worked hard to prove that I was worthy of him. I relied on my unwillingness to get to where I am today. Now I'm at the top. As long as he wants to find me, he can find me. But he didn't find me. He may have forgotten me a long time ago. His father was right. He didn't understand what love was. I lied to him. I want to ask for your help. I touched Liu Ruyan's head with my hand, but my transparent palm went straight through. Don't say that to me, Liu Ruyan. I liked you first. I wanted you to be with me. I have never forgotten you. I want to find you every day, but I can't do it. Liu Ruyan didn't cry, but Song Rufeng cried. Let's go back abroad. We will never come back. He is not worth it. Liu Ruyan put the photo in her hand on the floor. Liu Ruyan left. I sat on the floor and watched the sunset alone. I tasted the taste of tears for the first time. Liu Ruyan, I learned to cry. It turns out that losing someone will really break your heart. Liu Ruyan, I am dead, so I can't be with you anymore. Even if I find you, you can't see me. My soul began to become transparent and can go everywhere. I drifted. I drifted to the home of Woody. I saw his computer. I dug up the scandal of Liu Ruyan, the new internet giant. I am his college classmate. He is indeed a little talented in computers. But he has a bad character. In his senior year, he was a tutor for a rich young man with a disordered brain. He seduced the young man and tried to become a rich wife. He was kicked out of the house. He was already guaranteed to study in graduate school. It happened that this matter was reported. He lost the place of Bayan. Later, he couldn't make it in school. He dropped out and went abroad. He made a fortune abroad with Song Rufeng. He founded a technology company. He got to where he is today because he hooked up with a rich young man. I was stunned. No, what right do they have to slander Liu Ruyan like this? Wu Zhen, please help me. Tell them the truth, it's not like that. I wish I could stand by Liu Ruyan when she was slandered and lost her place as a treasured beauty. I could have cleared up all the rumors for her. No wonder he didn't like me. He must have felt so helpless when he faced all the rumors. If I had stood up at that time, he wouldn't have been forced to drop out of school. But I abandoned him. Liu Ruyan must be very sad. But even though he was so sad, he still said he didn't hate me. He just didn't dare to like me anymore. Wu Zhen, please help me. Wu Zhen seemed to have heard my request. He contacted alumni of Jinda University. Senior brother, I remember you and Liu Ruyan were classmates. How much do you know about the scandals about him on the internet? The other party responded quickly. When Liu Ruyan was dating that young master, someone saw them taking photos. Then the other party, not only did he report it to the school, but he also posted it on the school forum. Although Liu Ruyan looked calm, she was no pushover. He found out the IP address and found out the female classmate who spread the rumor. That person just wanted to steal Liu Ruyan's admission to graduate school, but in the end, nothing happened and she was punished. As for the matter between Liu Ruyan and the young master, there was no solid evidence. The school wanted Liu Ruyan to invite her boyfriend over to explain, but Liu Ruyan refused. In the end, in order to calm the public anger, the school could only cancel her admission to graduate school. In fact, everyone knew that Liu Ruyan was not the person rumored. After all, there were many handsome and rich people chasing her at the time, but there were too many people who took advantage of her. He was scolded badly and was bullied on campus for a while. Later, as for Song Rufeng, he dropped out of school when he came. As for Song Rufeng, he was his brother. He came to school to see Liu Ruyan during college. After Liu Ruyan's parents divorced, his brother changed his surname and followed. His mother went abroad. I guess some people saw that Liu Ruyan was now successful and famous, so they found some online trolls to smear him in various ways. So that's how it is. Then, senior brother, are you willing to speak up for justice? No problem. I felt guilty for standing by and watching. No matter how powerful Liu Ruyan is now, I still feel that we are classmates. I owe him this. After Wu Zhen hung up the phone, he called again. Are you a nurse at Beatty Mental Hospital? Back then I want to ask you about someone. His name is Yechiu. Do you still remember him? The other party was silent for a long time. He slowly said, I remember he died there too. In a big fire. What disease did he have? He had to be hospitalized for treatment. He was normal without any disease. Wahen continued to ask. Then why was he sent to a mental hospital for treatment? He was autistic. But autism is not a mental illness. And he had received good treatment since he was a child. Just like a normal person. He just didn't like to talk much. And didn't want to communicate with others. It was his father who insisted on having him hospitalized for treatment. I think the real problem was his father. He didn't believe his son was a normal person. Dating at the age of 18. It was just a very normal thing. He could have lived a good life. He was very smart. He was also talented in painting. He once asked me to contact someone. But his father didn't allow him to contact that person. So I didn't help him. Later I wrote many letters in the ward, but they were all burned by the fire. If I knew what happened to him later, I would definitely help him. Do you know what the letter said? I don't know, but I know that the person he likes is Liu Ruyan. He waits by the window every day, waiting for Liu Ruyan to come to see him. I don't know who Liu Ruyan is, but I believe he really likes him. After Wu Zhen hung up the phone, he sat quietly in a chair, staring at the computer with an expressionless face, and then his eyes turned red. He posted the recording of the phone call with the nurse on the internet and wrote another paragraph. When Yechiu was sent to a mental hospital for treatment, when Liu Ruyan was slandered, the whole world denied their love. In the end, one of them died at the age of 18, and the other was single for 10 years. But the world still refused to admit that they had loved each other. I believe Yechiu really likes Liu Ruyan. They are just having an ordinary love affair. The photos in the iron box are what he saved with his life. He is gone now. But his love was real. Please don't slander his lover. I shed 2 transparent tears. Thank you without a certificate. If I were still alive, I would definitely be your friend. I floated to the airport again. I saw Song Rufeng was on the phone. After the technical department found the IP address of the rumor, it was handed over to the legal department. Sue one by one. After hanging up the phone, I heard him scold Yechiu. You really can pretend to be dead. It was like this 10 years ago. It is still like this 10 years later. Why can't you stand up and say a word for Ruyan? Ruyan likes you so much. Why do you do this? How can you bear to watch? She was held by me. Yechiu has been waiting for you for the past 10 years. But where are you? The phone rang. Song Rufeng answered the phone. Mr. Song had alumni from Jin University come out one after another. Clarify for Mr. Liu. It caused quite a bit of public opinion. There is another thing. There is a master certificate with 1 million fans. Not long ago, an activity was launched online. Called to find Liu Ruyan. Song Rufeng didn't understand what it meant. Looking for my sister? Yes. Why did she look for my sister? Because of a photo. Wait a minute, I think I know who Wu Zhen you are talking about. What exactly does she want to do? She is a supernatural adventure type up. She recently went to a mental hospital. Stop and get to the point. Then Song Rufeng heard the person on the other end of the phone say Wu Zheng said. Mr. Liu's first love Yechiu. Died 10 years ago. What did he say 10 years ago? Yechiu was sent to Bay Mental Hospital for treatment. Hospital caught fire. He was one of the victims. Say it again. What's his name? Yechiu clicked. Song Rufeng's phone fell to the ground. Not far away. Liu Ruyan, who was reading messages on her phone, raised her head. What's wrong? It's okay. Just saw those dirty things on the internet. A little angry. Where's Ruyan? Song Rufeng hesitated to speak. Liu Ruyan looked at him with some confusion. What's wrong, love? Forget it, it's nothing. Luckily Song Rufeng didn't tell Liu Ruyan the truth. I have trapped him for 10 years. I don't want to trap him for the rest of his life with my death. Like is selfish. It is rejection but also fulfillment and letting go. I always hope Liu Ruyan can come to see me later because I miss him very much. Later, I waited too long. I also thought that Liu Ruyan should have forgotten me a long time ago, but I still wanted to see him. Now my obsession is finally going to disappear. I looked at my body and it became completely transparent. Thank you to everyone who helped me find Liu Ruyan. Thank you to everyone who cleared Liu Ruyan's name. 10 years after my death, I finally met my only first love. Even if everyone doesn't believe in my love, 30-year-old Liu Ruyan, please don't doubt that 18-year-old Yechiu likes you. Before boarding the plane, Song Rufeng held Liu Ruyan's arm. I thought about waiting for you to completely let him go. It would be better to tell you this later. But I am afraid you will blame me. Liu Ruyan asked doubtfully. What are you talking about? Song Rufeng took a deep breath and said Ruyan. Yechiu is dead. He died 10 years ago. Song Rufeng finished speaking. Biting his lips tightly. He didn't mean not to speak for you. He just died and couldn't speak for you. And couldn't come to you. After your relationship was exposed, he was locked up in a mental hospital. He couldn't contact the outside world. That photo was taken when the mental hospital caught fire. He used his body to protect him. He has always liked you. Ruyan, he likes you. More than you think. This misunderstanding that spanned 10 years. Finally it was revealed in a tragic way. He finally told Liu Ruyan the truth. He really couldn't bear to hide it. That was too unfair to Yechiu. Song Rufeng finally couldn't hold back his tears. For his brother-in-law whom he had never met. He was only 18 years old when he died. Liu Ruyan smiled. Don't talk nonsense. Then his smile froze on his face. He didn't get on the plane. Turned back home. His steps looked shaky. As if he would fall down at any time. The photo on the floor of the villa. 18-year-old Yechiu looked at him with a smile. Liu Ruyan knelt on the ground. Holding the photo and crying heartbreakingly. He thought he didn't love him. It was the cruelest thing. He still remembers the rainy day 10 years ago. He went to see him. His father pointed at his nose and scolded him. Don't think I don't know. What are you, a poor girl, planning? I tell you, my son is not a normal person at all. If you hadn't lied to him, he would never have dated you. He doesn't know what love is at all. In his eyes, you are no different from a dog or a flower. I never thought Yechiu was abnormal, nor did I think his love was fake. His eyes were so clear that they couldn't hide any secrets. Liu Ruyan was sure that he liked him. It's good to like him. If you don't believe it, we'll just wait and see. After you get out of his life, he will definitely forget you immediately because he has been like this since he was a child. He won't love anyone. When his mother left him, he didn't even cry. If he can contact you actively, even just once, I will make you happy. But if he doesn't contact you, you should never contact him. Seduce him. Otherwise I will make sure you never see him in your life. Liu Ruyan still wanted to fight for it. But the other party said Liu Ruyan. Yechiu is only 18 years old. Yes, Yechiu is only 18 years old. Liu Ruyan felt that she could wait. Later Liu Ruyan sent him many messages. All of them fell into the sea. Yechiu really never contacted him again. When he decided to go abroad, he thought about changing his mobile phone number. But in the end he couldn't bear to do it. Yechiu is a little monster. A little monster who doesn't care about being liked by others. I am Liu Ruyan. Love little monster. When he was 20 years old, his first love ended in vain. 10 years later he couldn't help but return to China in a high-profile manner. During these 10 years, he called that number after being drunk code. But it was no longer in service. All his courage disappeared in an instant. He didn't dare to try to contact him again. He didn't dare to look for him. He just waited. But he couldn't wait. He thought his father was right. He didn't know what love was. It was him who lied to him. He made him misunderstand love. That's why he stayed with him. Yechiu became a taboo that he couldn't touch. But Liu Ruyan was wrong. He didn't look for him. Because he was dead. 10 years in this era of cheap love. His love was indeed abnormal. It just so happened that he was not abnormal either. At the age of 18, he used his life to protect a photo. Liu Ruyan spent her whole life missing him. When Liu Ruyan was 40 years old, she had a head full of white hair. With a melancholy look in her eyes. Like an old man in his twilight years. That year Liu Ruyan died alone in a nursing home. He never married. Going to death, before he died, he tightly grasped the half-remaining photo in his hand. On his deathbed, he saw Yechiu, who was 18 years old. He didn't know how to face him. He hadn't changed at all. But he was old. I'm sorry I was late for so long. Yechiu's clear eyes were filled with shock. Shock and sadness. Instead of disgust. Liu Ruyan, why did you come so soon? This was already very slow. Because I missed you too much. Just like when he gave him extra lessons. I couldn't help but stand outside his house half an hour in advance. When they were dating. I couldn't help but wait for him an hour in advance. In the 20 years since I lost him, I wrote a lot of ineffectiveness for him. Liu Ruyan knew Yechiu had his own world. He never felt lonely. But he was different. He was too lonely. In a world without Yechiu. Every minute and every second was long and unbearable.